All right, everybody, welcome back to the channel. I'm your host, SQD Will. We are here to collect. We know you are too. We saw this. We gave you a little hint of this on Star Wars Day. Check out that video if you haven't. It was super fun. But we got this on a mail call, Mail Day. We have in front of us the Medicom toy Mafex, Star Wars The Mandalorian, Luke Skywalker. You know we love Mafex on the channel. But was this a hit or a miss? You're going to want to watch to find out. Maybe the best Luke Skywalker figure yet. All right, everybody, welcome in. We are here to review this Medicom Mafex Star Wars The Mandalorian Luke Skywalker. I've been patiently waiting for this one because we have the HH Figure Arts version, albeit that I do like it. It's not the definitive Luke from The Mandalorian, so we hope that this holds up to a lot of the promo images. Don't forget, I'm your host, SQD Will. Don't forget, we are here to collect, and we know you are too. Like, comment, share, and subscribe to the channel. Don't forget to also follow us on Instagram and on whatnot at Here to Collect SQD. If you're joining us for the first time, we do this in parts. So we're going to take a look at the packaging first. We'll look over the accessories, do the head-to-toe review, a little articulation there, some comparisons, and then we'll get into final thoughts. With all that said, and don't forget said, I mean, gosh, I said don't forget said like how many times? We're going to take a look at the packaging. All right, everybody, we are back to take a look at the packaging. You are going to get the standard Mafex window packaging here with the figure centered in the middle with the accessories around it. Typical Mafex packaging. You have a photo of Luke right here on the box. Medicom Mafex Toys, the Star Wars The Mandalorian Luke Skywalker. You have the Mando photo up here on the Mandalorian. On the side, you have obviously an image of the figure as well. Again, taken from that, shot at, what was it, the end of Mando season 2. That was, oh my god, what a season 2 that was. That episode made me cry, guys. Pretty much every time it makes me cry. Not as much as before. The first time I was bawling. We get a little emotional on this channel. So anyway, with that said, you have all these beautiful figure photography shots of Luke. And just on these shots, he looks great. I can't wait to pose him. I like to use these shots as references on how to pose my figure when I actually put them on display. That's why I love Mafex. You can choose from a variety of different shots, and it's all, all right here on the box for you. And most of the time, I just use something from here, like this shot, or maybe even this shot I'll use, or this one. I don't know, but it also shows you with what it comes with. You got the obviously authenticity sticker there, the authenticity sticker there, bada bing, legalese. Let's bust it open. All right, everybody, in the magic of time travel, I have cut my beard and we have blasted into the future to take a look again. Unboxed. We busted it open. We busted it into the future. We're going to take a look at this Medicom Toys Mafex The Mandalorian, Star Wars The Mandalorian, Luke Skywalker out of the packaging. Finally, in front of us. We're going to get to take a look. Now, I've had this out of the packaging for a little bit, and I've had a chance to actually play around with it. And there's some things I really love about it, and some things that I really don't love too much about it. Now, with all that said, though, if it's your first time joining us, or if you do know if it's not your first time joining us, that we're going to take a look at the accessories first. We'll do a head-to-toe look at the figure. Then we'll do some comparisons. We'll get into a little bit of progressions with this figure, and then we'll head into final thoughts. But let's take a look at the accessories first. All right, guys and gals, we are back to take a look at the accessories for this Medicom Toys Mafex, the Mandalorian, Star Wars The Mandalorian, Luke Skywalker. Let's start with the robe first. So the robe is pretty cool, guys. I mean, it's nice. It's a bendable, kind of flexible robe with wire in it, bendy wire in it. You have the hood here with a bunch of bendy wire as well. You know, you're gonna have to kind of futz around with it a little bit, you know, for the playability factor and things of that nature. But it seems to be in good order. The bendy wire seems to be good. As you can see, I'm already kind of getting this, you know, the hood into place to kind of put it on him. So I mean, it looks good. It's a great texture here. It's not frail. It's not gonna rip. Really nice. Robe here, cape, whatever you want to call it. So you get that to start, which we love. That's what you're going to get with these premium figures, guys. You're going to get the bendable wired capes and things of that nature when you're talking about a Mafex offering. That's what they include. So it's a little bit more premium, a little bit better as far as the cloth is concerned, the materials they're using, etc., etc. With that said, let me get into the hands now. You're going to get some force hands. So you got some open hands here. Obviously, Luke comes one gloved hand, one regular hand. So you have a right and left there. And those are just, you know, force hands, open hands that you can use for him there. And then what I do love about the Mafex figures too, they come with these, you know, little kind of peg holders for the hands so you're not losing them or anything like that. And so they can slip right and off and on the peg of the figure. They're not kind of like, you know, they keep their shape, so they could do that. So then he comes with more force hands. These are a little bit more kind of the finger open force hands, if you can see, kind of like pointing to the distance or something. So yeah, like there you go, you could do force hands here as well. So those are kind of quasi open force hands. You're gonna get a lot of hands here, obviously, with this offering. And then you're gonna get these C grips to hold the lightsaber with. So again, you can hold it with the right, with the left. I mean, I think you can definitely get a dual-handed pose with this figure. I know that for a fact. We haven't done it yet, but we'll show you at the end. And there you go. So that's another one. And then you get these, again, palm open hands, kind of like this force stop hands almost. So there you go. There you go. So kind of like the palm is open there. A little bit different than these. These have kind of like the fingers, like he's almost struggling to use the force. That's more kind of like composed force using hands, in my opinion. And then you get kind of like really open C grip hands here. And maybe you can use these to hold Grogu and such. But those are the hands. I do, again, love the spools too, and not only for the purpose of not losing your hands, and for storage purposes, but to keep those kind of, again, those holes open a little bit, you know, so they slip right and on and off the peg of the figure. Now you're gonna get 3 lightsabers. So you get a lightsaber hilt here, which is detailed, nicely detailed. Let me put it the correct way. And you can see in the camera, I'll zoom this in. See all those nice golds and bronze that they did. A lot of nice deco here on the hilt. So you can just plug that right into his belt. We'll show you later on what we mean by that. So you get the lightsaber hilt there. And then you get a lightsaber hilt with the green laser image or beam coming out of it. So let's get, there you go, same thing. It's the same hilt, but then it has the green saber there. So that's cool. And then you get a really nice movement, I would say. It's kind of like a movement lightsaber where the green is in movement. So you can see that. I don't know, what do you call this, guys? And guys, comment below. I don't know what you would call this particular, like, I know this is kind of like the slashing movement for the image of the saber. So that's what you get there, which is cool as well. And then obviously the hilt, pretty much the same hilt there. And that is the accessory offering for this Medicom Toys Mafex Star Wars The Mandalorian Luke Skywalker. He comes with basics, really. You're not getting like super crazy stuff here or anything like that. You're getting the cape, you're getting a bunch of lightsabers, a bunch of hands that you can use that are force kind of movement hands, and utilitarian hands, stuff that you're going to be able to use with this figure. With that said, we're going to get all this out of the way, and we're going to get into the head-to-toe review of this Luke Skywalker. Stay tuned. All right, everybody, we are back to take a look at this Luke Skywalker head to toe. We got him in hand, ready to go. for your viewing pleasure. So we're going to start with the head here on the Luke Skywalker. I am kind of 50-50 on this head sculpt and photo reel. I do think it looks like Hamill. I do think it looks also like the kind of deep fake they did in that episode of The Mandalorian. But at the same time, there's certain kind of, I don't know, guys and gals, there are certain areas of this figure where I really wish that, I just don't know, I really wish that they had done a better job in, I don't know, kind of grabbing that likeness more. I don't know, guys. Comment below. Again, in comparisons, you're going to see next to the SH Figure Arts version what I'm saying. So this is very lifelike, and I like it. And I think I'm going to feel differently when I get the robe on him, where there's just some angles. When you see him in some angles, he kind of looks off. Now, as I'm saying this and you're seeing him on the camera, he looks amazing. So, like, I'm looking at him through my camera while I'm doing this review. I'm like, oh my God, this figure looks great. With that said, though, there are times where I'm like, I'm not sure, but right now I'm 100% sure I like this. Let's move on. So the head to toe, you're going to get amazing amount of movement in the head. If you did want to pop this off, I mean, as you know, with the Mafex toys, I say Mafex, guys. I'm sorry. I'm going to continue saying Mafex. Very easy to remove parts of these figures if need be. They're very flexible. They do an incredible job with articulation, and this is one of the reasons I love them, and this is one of the reasons they are a premium offering. With that said, let's get into a little bit of the articulation points. So I do like his robes. Obviously, they are the most screen accurate to this portion of the show, and this version of Luke Skywalker you're going to get, and you'll see that in comparisons as well. He's got the light silver hilt here, like the kind of striations and texture that they gave along this plastic robe. You're going to get amazing amount of articulation again with these Mafex figures. As you can see, there's full rotation here, nice bend here in the elbow. You have the butterfly joints too in here, which, I mean, gosh, you can move this any which way. And again, if stuff pops out, guys, you can pop it right back in. That's what the Mafex offering allows you to do. Now, you're not going to get super crunchy with Luke, but that's where he kind of gets there, and then his back kind of gets there. Obviously, you can hide all those creases with just kind of moving this up and down. I like that this kind of tunic area is a floating piece with the belt and such. You're going to get in the legs kind of like that on the splits. You're going to get kind of a 90 degree, a little bit more than 90 on the bend at the knees, and the knees are double jointed, but you're not going to get much more because it's prohibited by this kind of hip area here. You do have a swivel hip, and then there's a slight drop down too. They have this new kind of engineering point where it looks like this hip portion is actually pegged into this upper portion here, which is interesting. So you kind of get a nice drop down, and then it's hidden by the tunic if you push it down, the cut on it, and then the swivel's also hidden. So it's interesting kind of engineering in this leg area here, but it does allow for a nice range of movement. You get some rotation at the knee, but you get nothing in this area. And then you get, obviously, you have a ball joint here, up and down here, and then rocker. There you go. And that's kind of your articulation points on Luke. Obviously, the hands go round and round all about. I mean, guys, this is a Mafex, so you're going to get awesome articulation out of this figure. It's going to be able to pose pretty much any way you want it to pose. With that said, does it look good? How does it look next to other Luke Skywalker figures? How does it look next to other figures in general? And we're just going to move this down just slightly so you're in here, that it's in the picture here. We are going to show you all of that on the flip side in our comparison portion of this review. All right, everybody, welcome back to the comparison portion of this review of the Medicom toy Mafex, Star Wars The Mandalorian Luke Skywalker. Now I'm going to bring out some other figures for y'all. I have some right here. We're going to do all Luke first. To start, we're going to boom, put in here that Star Wars Black Series, the Hasbro Star Wars Black Series Luke Skywalker. Now, again, some of these are not going to be from The Mandalorian, but I wanted to show you how they compare next to each other. And you can see, I mean, Even if you wanted to use this as your Return of the Jedi Luke Skywalker, I think you kind of could. I don't know. I mean, you comment below, guys and gals. I mean, this figure next to that figure looks crazy. You know what? And next, this is the Luke Skywalker from the Grogu and Luke Skywalker Hasbro Star Wars The Mandalorian Black Series 2-pack. And again, I mean, even though that facial sculpt is a little bit updated, you can see that this figure is just superior in so many ways. I mean, obviously it's a little larger in size, but I just like the look of it. And again, I have these for comparison. You could see the robes are a lot different as well. Interesting, right? Very, very interesting. I don't know. Give me your thoughts below, guys. What do you think? I mean, this head sculpt, as I look at it through the camera, looks amazing. And I just put this out here just for the heck of it, because I wanted to kind of show you guys what this is an old school Luke here. This is the Luke Skywalker. I believe this was the Walmart exclusive, guys. This is from obviously the Hasbro Star Wars Black Series, but this is the Return of the Jedi Luke Skywalker. This, I felt the facial sculpt was very similar in the way the hair placement was, so that's why I wanted to bring it out here. Some of the robes are a little bit similar as well. Obviously the belts are different, but a lot of the same, you got a lot of the same look. And this is based off of that kind of vintage figure look as well. To be honest, I really love this head sculpt. I think they did a great job, Hasbro. And comparatively speaking, you could see how I mean, the hair on the one end is a little odd, but I mean, this one, look, this again is so much more superior. But I did want to bring this out because this is kind of that Return of the Jedi Kenner look that they kind of did, and I do have this one on my display because I do like it. I think it's a solid figure, guys. So if you're a Luke Skywalker fan, it's a really nice figure to have in your collection. And then I think the comparison that everybody wants to see, and guys, I don't know how I feel about this. Here is Luke, the SH Figure Arts version, and I don't know. It's funny. I really enjoyed this Luke, and I still think it looks really, really good. But there's something just about the Mafex that just, I don't know. It's just, what do you guys think? I know the facial sculpt here is a little interesting in the SH Figure Arts. I don't know. What do you guys think? Comment below. Seeing them side by side, right? And again, it looks like these are a little shorter. I think this is kind of a mashed up look of Return and of The Mandalorian, but more of Return of the Jedi look, in my opinion. Again, you have the double kind of belt buckle here, and again, these sashes are not hanging lower like they should be. This is more screen accurate, I think, than this one. But this is still a great looking figure. And again, the facial sculpt wise, I think this is more Return Luke, in my opinion. And this is more that kind of deep fake look for Luke. So I don't know. Comment below, guys. Let me know which one you like the most. And just for the heck of it, I'm going to put them next to the Glavis Ringworld. That is the Glavis Ringworld. I think it's Ringworld. Sorry, Mandalorian. So where's the Mandalorian from the Black Series? That's how he looks next to that Luke. Let's get the version 2 out, guys. We have the version 2 Mandalorian from our trusty Medicom toy Mafex, the Mandalorian. Now, I like these together. I think this is perfect. Again, this figure is one of my favorite figures of all time, and I know a lot of people that like it for certain reasons. It's like this is the best Mandalorian figure, bar none. Again, this is the version 2, the Mandalorian, Star Wars The Mandalorian from Medicom toy Mafex, and again, I think these pair very well together. We'll put him off to the side for now. Another Mafex figure, we have Ahsoka. as well in her garb. And again, other than her very orangey face, I do think these look great together. I just want to get her face shown because that could cover up sometimes. She looks great. I love this figure. I mean, Ahsoka Tano, I mean, looks great from Mafex. So again, this is some Mafex comparison. And you guys can do it. I mean, if you're not going to deep dive into Star Wars and you want just some great Star Wars figures for your collection, I would go Medicom toy, guys. The Mafex stuff looks great. They look great together. That would be my take on it all. I would probably go with Mafex for Star Wars moving forward. With all that said, let's get into some other comparisons and see how he actually holds up against some other 1/12 scale figures on the. All right, everybody, we are back, and here is our trusty Clark Kent or Muff Toys Protector of Metropolis figure right there. And as you can see, even though it is a 1/12 scale figure, very similar to a Mezco 1/12 collective figure, this is a larger figure in comparison to the Mafex Star Wars stuff. Let's bring another figure in. We are going to actually bring in our handy dandy Rat King, which just is towering. These do not go together at all, guys and gals. As you can see, this is a much larger 7-8 inch. I mean, it's coming off the screen here, and I got this zoomed out a little bit for y'all with the expectation of that. So a much larger figure there. Also, we do have our NECA Doc Brown, just under just slightly under that window here, and just slightly smaller than the Rat King we just pulled in from the Super 7 Rat King from TMNT. But there you go. That's a NECA Back to the Future Doc Brown. We absolutely love wrestling on the channel. If you didn't know, now you know. There he is, the Mattel WWE Elite Dominic Mysterio, the Dirty Dominic Mysterio right there. And we absolutely also love McFarlane, but unfortunately he lost the DC license. Oh, yeah, not the entire one, but the master license. And there is your Batman Begins, the Bat, not the Bat Flicked, I should say. I always those called the Bale Bat, the Bat Bale. Christian Bale Batman right there. Beautiful, beautiful figure, my gosh. You will be Miss McFarlane. But again, they do not scale. No way, shape, or form do they scale at all. And before we get into progressions, we do have a little bit of a progressions part for you today. We do want to show you another Mafex figure next to Luke. There's the Joker from The Dark Knight Returns, and obviously by Mafex as well. And you can see these are a little bit more in line. So if you did want to use the, the Mafex stuff, you could put them all on the same scale. They kind of go together. Again, I feel Luke is a little shorter, even though these are 1/12 scale figures, but it's up to you guys. Personally, I keep Star Wars with Star Wars, Batman with Batman, but do you guys? And we'll be back on the flip side for progression. All right, everybody, we are back in progressions, and here we go. This is a sampling of what I have in my collection. So, it's kind of timeline specific. These aren't all Star Wars, Mandalorian, Luke Skywalkers. Obviously, we just don't have enough of that yet. They may have released a retro collection one. I'm not sure. Comment below, guys and gals. With that said, I did bring out my Kenner Return of the Jedi Luke Skywalker, one of my favorite figures. I got this from Paul's Toy Room. It's minty, minty, minty original. Love that figure. We have the TVC Return of the Jedi Luke Skywalker as well. I forgot what specific number that is. You can comment below. I will probably put it in the description if you'd like. Then we do have that Walmart exclusive Return of the Jedi Luke Skywalker here. We have the Grogu and Luke Skywalker from Star Wars The Mandalorian right here, which is the closest representation you're going to get to this figure. And then obviously the Medicom toy Mafex Star Wars The Mandalorian Luke Skywalker to end it. He looks great. He looks imposing. I love looking at how figures have progressed over time. That's why I love to collect vintage and modern, and I just love to see where it was and where we are now. So with that said, we're going to flip it back around. Will this get a hats off? Will this not? You'll find out in Final Thoughts. All right, everybody, we are back into Final Thoughts. And as you expected, well, before we get to whether or not this is a hats off figure, we did put a little Grogu in there, the Grogu right next to him. That is the Grogu from the Medicom Toys Mafex, the Mandalorian version. I believe the version 2 re-release or reissue of the Mandalorian himself. I love that Grogu. I think it's the best. It scales perfectly. As you can see, it looks great next to Luke. And with that said, bam, it is the best Luke Skywalker Mandalorian version. And possibly, if you wanted to pop that head off and maybe even make him into sort of a Return of the Jedi Luke Skywalker, you can do that as well. I think this figure is great. I am a little bit, I think the issue is the likeness. I'm a little thrown off by it, but when you put it next to all the other Luke Skywalkers and you really look at it, it is the most lifelike representation and kind of that deep fake look they could provide to him for this time period in The Mandalorian, Star Wars The Mandalorian. So I love the figure. Hats off to Medicom Toy Mafex. They did a great job here with this Star Wars The Mandalorian Luke Skywalker. I think this is the best version we got. He's going to be number one on my shelf 100%. I obviously will display the SH Figure Arts as well. I can put them in kind of two different areas of my Star Wars display, so that works for me. I highly recommend getting this figure to anyone who is after a true Star Wars The Mandalorian Luke Skywalker. This is the figure to get because, again, it is going to represent that scene in The Mandalorian the best. It is as screen accurate as it comes, guys and gals. So with all that said, thanks so much for joining us on another toy review. Don't forget, I'm your host, SQD Will. We are here to collect, and we know you are too. So don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe to the channel if you like what you saw today on this toy review. Also follow us on Instagram and on whatnot at Here to Collect CC. Again, we will be doing a 5K giveaway on Instagram as we build to 5K. And we will be doing a 1K giveaway here on YouTube. So don't forget to hit that subscribe button and stay tuned for more of these toy reviews and our toy hunts. And with all that said, we're going to find those figures on the hunt. We're going to also get them in the mail, and we're going to bring them back here into the studio, and we're going to review them for you all. So guys and gals, come back and join us on our next toy review.